Hi, Dee in Birmingham. Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm all right, Dee. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you very much. Basically, my question to you this morning, I'd just like to ask, have you been following the documentary Benefit Street?
I haven't read it, no. Of course, it's filmed in a street near you, isn't it?
It's actually, believe it or not,
You're D.
I am D. I'm one of the Ds.
I'm sorry to be so rude. Are you you white D or black D? Do you mind my asking?
I am white D.
You're white D?
The older of the two.
Right, you're like the you're like the mother hen figure, without in any way wishing to appear offensive.
Apparently, yes.
Right, okay. So that's just to help my listeners.
But Dee, I've got a lot of listeners would have watched you on the programme. I haven't, Dee, so you're going to have to just,
Well, I'm very disappointed in that, Nick. No, I'm only joking.
You may have noticed I have a few other things on, which prevents me from watching more television.
Do you want to be an MP? Don't tell me you've met Lord Reynard.
No, not yet.
No, Nick.
He's more than welcome to come down and have a cup of tea anytime he wants. But I was just wondering, obviously with all the hype and everything around the documentary Benefit Street, do you think it is a fair reflection of people on benefits?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me this, Dee, and fair question, and because I haven't watched it, I just can't give you. Look, the impression I've had, but tell me whether you think this is right. The impression I've had is that sort of you have one side of the argument saying this just shows that the whole benefit system is rubbish, and we should withdraw all benefits, and all people are sort of scroungers and so on, and living off the state. And there's another sort of extreme of people who are saying, it's outrageous that the Benefit Street was ever made, and it's demonising people on welfare. I think, I strongly suspect, in the nature of these things, both of those caricatures are wrong. I think, and I'm assuming you'd agree with this, Dee, we want a welfare system which is compassionate. It's something we should be proud of, that we have something where taxpayers put money into a pot which is then used to help people who are vulnerable, who need help with their daily lives, where they can't help themselves or need help to get back into work. But that receiving help from the generosity of others shouldn't be a kind of permanent way of life, and that the incentive to work is the most important one of all. And that's why, yes, controversial though it's been, I've actually been a big advocate in government of trying to change the welfare system and the tax system, so you keep more money if you start working, even just on a few hours, and you always feel better off working than being on benefits. Yeah. What's your own view, Dee, and how do you feel about the programme?
Well, how do I feel about the programme? I think it's very cleverly edited, if I can just sort of get that one in. The programme, it's been a shock. There's no way did we ever think it would be this big or this controversial.
It's Nick Ferrari here, Dee. What did when the producers arrived on James Turner Street? What did they tell you were going to be in? How did they describe the show?
Basically, what they described the show as was community spirit. It's going to be a documentary based around community spirit, how even though some of us are on benefits...
Well, 75% of you would appear to be on benefits.
Is that, well, I don't know figures,
okay.
But basically how we do get on and we do help each other and how we're there for each other.
And imagine the Deputy Prime Minister came to Benefit Street as it's now known.
We would love him to come to
What would he tell him what he would see last week? We've only got a minute. Just tell him what he would see. Tell him what you would want to get across to him.
He would see a very clean street. He would see people getting together, helping each other. People with money, not scrounging, not lying around. Children at school, so obviously he'd have to come, after school finishes.
But what sort of view do you have of politics? You see, what comes across, I didn't see last night's, but, Monday night's, you're quite negative towards politics and politicians, is the sense that I get. I don't know that Mr Clegg would necessarily be made that welcome, Dee.
No, he would be very, very welcome, and I can't sort
Thank you, Dee. You stand up for me.
You haven't
You
haven't seen the show, Deputy Prime Minister. When you go,
but I've heard enough from Dee.
I'm very sort of into politics. I vote every year. Yeah. I discuss with people about why they should vote, because I do say that if you don't vote, why are you moaning about the situation?
I'll tell you what, Dee, the only thing I would say is, and certainly, I certainly feel this is listening to you speak as sort of generously and in a very articulate way now, is I think there's a big debate to be had in the country about what kind of welfare state can we afford, how do we change benefits, how do we make sure. I think we need to be quite kind of hard-headed about that, but I do as a rule think we've got to avoid demonising whole groups of people, because I think that makes it more difficult actually to take the sensible, tough decisions about how we continue to reform welfare.
And which way do you vote lastly, Dee?
Which way did I vote last?
Yeah, last time. Labour, Lib Dem?
Well, I did actually vote Labour because I was really annoyed when you went into a coalition with the Tories. But hey ho, do you know what I mean? You can win me back, Mr. Clegg.
Oh, there's an invitation. There's an invitation.
You can attempt to win me back.
All right. Well, Dee, I'll tell you a good start. You can always listen to this programme and come back on it if you want.
Would you like to go and see Dee?
Well, by the sounds of it, I'd love to meet Dee. I'm not going to on air make promises I'm going to turn up on your street, Dee, but it's very good talking to you.